Welcome to a new episode of TTG Conversations 5 Questions video series. I'm Karen Yu, Group Editor of TTG Asia Media. In this episode, we'll find out where we are on the road to business travel recovery. And giving us insight on this topic is Lyn Lewis-Smith, CEO of Business Events Sydney. Lyn needs little introduction. She's one of the world's most respected and influential figures in the tourism and business events industry. She's also very much the face of Business Events Sydney, where she leads a global team of professionals who are charged with securing global meetings of economic, social, and educational benefit to Sydney, Australia, and global communities. Great to see you again, Lyn, and happy to have you on the show.
Thanks, Karen. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you.
Very deserving. I've got 5 questions for you, and here's the first. Now, Sydney reopened to the world earlier this year, and your team has been really active at recent trade shows for the business events community, and you yourself just came back from IMEX in Frankfurt. Now, can you tell me about how the international business event planners are responding to Sydney's reopening?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Karen. We are well and truly back in the business events world here in Sydney and Australia. As you mentioned, I've just come back from IMEX. Prior to that, I was in the US, in Silicon Valley, and also at the CEO Summit in Palm Springs with Destinations International. So I've been to many events globally now, but where we are in Sydney, obviously our borders opened up earlier this year. We don't have to have PCR tests coming in, just proof of vaccination now. So we're well and truly open to the world. I'm really happy to say that the team have done an amazing job of rescheduling nearly 60% of the events, and these are global events that were going to happen over the last 2 years in Sydney, into the next 18 months. So we have 72 global meetings come into Sydney in the next 18 months, which is amazing for the great relationships that my team has built globally, but also stands Sydney's brand really strong, that event owners have, so much trust in us to be able to deliver those events, particularly when we're still evolving out of COVID, to an endemic, not a pandemic. We've already hosted international meetings. One of those was around 1,300 delegates. 700 of those were international from 70 countries. So that tells me that the world is well and truly open. Business travel is back on the cards, and if people understand the business importance of events, they will travel long haul to places like Sydney and Australia. We also have hosted a number of site inspections and FAMILs and our first incentive from Asia. So we're really positive and optimistic about the future of business events here in Sydney.
That's wonderful. You mentioned 72 events coming up in the next 18 months, but these are just the events that your team is supporting. So there could be much more that are coming back to Sydney, isn't it?
Absolutely. We're still winning international events. We just won a major convention for gerontology, which is for 2029, not in the next 18 months. Mm-hmm. But the team have been winning international events through this whole period. We haven't stopped bidding and winning events. So the pipeline is incredibly strong up until 2029.
Wonderful. Okay. The world may have reopened, Lyn, but, COVID infections remain a concern for many individuals around the world. So how is Sydney and her, hospitality stakeholders ensuring a safe environment for international event delegates?
Yeah, we certainly haven't dropped the ball on safety and security and health measures. The team have done a great job on our website, so any event planner around the world can actually go there for some, recent information. And our stakeholders are taking this very seriously. We still have sanitisers and all the health related, information and precautions to make sure that people have a healthy and safe experience. And, the airlines are still asking us to wear masks, and the airlines that are flying into Sydney and Australia are very strict on communicating with delegates and event planners on what's required and what's available to keep them safe and healthy here in Sydney and Australia.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What support programs are available to international business event planners looking to bring their gatherings to Sydney this year or the coming years? And how are these support programs different from pre-pandemic or pre-lockdown?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And over the last couple of years, the team have really taken the opportunity to rethink and reimagine what we can do in terms of the value proposition to event owners, whether that's for a big association conference or a corporate incentive coming out of Asia. We're really engaged with our stakeholders right across Sydney, from government, academia, the private sector, and obviously our tourism supply chain. They've all developed their product and services as well during this time. We've really engaged with our creative industries and thought about what's new and different that we could put up as a value proposition for event owners and delegates, but for conventions and more so the incentive, the creative side for incentive programs. Our business is predominantly out of Asia there, so it's a wow factor, and we really want to inspire and motivate some of these delegates that, their corporations are wanting them to sell more. Obviously, that's what the incentive is all about. So how do we motivate and reward them when they come to Sydney? So the creative industries has been really strong in that respect in helping us develop programs. And we have an amazing major events calendar that is recurrent. So I'm not sure if you saw Vivid. Vivid is the biggest light show and for ideas and creative industries in the Southern Hemisphere. And that's gone for over 20 days. And we want to showcase that to the world and know that the world can come here and experience that. And other cultural and sporting events that really bring our cultural immersive experiences to life for anyone that visits. So there's been a lot going on in the backyard in the last 2 years. We haven't sat idle. In actual fact, our theme is to build back best, not just better. And we really have engaged our stakeholders to bring alive, a new value proposition that will really engage and excite international clients all around the world.
It's wonderful to know. Now, Sydney has remained quite active in business events during the pandemic, and we know because you get a lot of press releases from you throughout the 2 years. Through that, do you expect the transition back to a mix of domestic and international events to play out this year? And, for example, will the return of international events be swift? Will there be immediate stiff competition for prime dates and spaces?
I think competition's always going to be at the forefront. We did pivot to the domestic market during COVID, and we engaged our government partners at Destination New South Wales, and a program was put together with a stimulus package to, really encourage people out of the, off Zoom and into the conference room, if you like. And we've seen that pent-up demand really start to deliver in the city. That said, we will continue in the domestic market from a strategic standpoint, but our primary purpose has always been the international marketplace, and that's where we believe we can, create the most value for our state and our stakeholders. But, all of our tourism supply industry are really, really excited about the quantum of business that's coming through now. And we're getting people back in jobs, and that's really important, getting our industry back on its feet, and hopefully, as I said before, build back, best and really do what we do really well.
Mm-hmm. Let's continue on from the build back best term. Now, you spoke about how you're bringing back a lot of recurring events that will add value to an experience in Sydney. What about the new experiences that have come up during the last 2 years? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. From a city perspective, we now have a nighttime economy commissioner. We call him the Night Star. And this is all about revitalising our central business district and, bringing the outdoors to life. Lots of alfresco dining. We have a new six-star hotel in the Crown Resort. There's a lot of boutique hotels that have been developed during the period, and they are now open. We've upgraded, or we're in the process of upgrading our fish markets, which is really a draw card for those that love seafood. And Luna Park has got some new rides, and we know that's great for the corporate incentive market as well. But we're building a second international airport as well. We're building a smart city called Bradfield. in the west of Sydney. And we're also building 6 innovation precincts. So there's been a lot going on that we need to now communicate to the rest of the world, from a business perspective, but also from an experience perspective. And I think we've got a lot of new things to tell the world. And that's why you're receiving all the press releases from my great team.
Yeah, I'm happy to be kept busy with the team. That's all the questions I have for you, Lyn. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Past and future episodes of TTG Conversations 5 Questions can be found on the TTG YouTube channel. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.